Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Dog Show Tips, the interview chair, brought to you by Dog News Magazine, America's weekly magazine devoted to the sport of purebred dogs. Today on the chair, we have Dr. Patty Haines. So sit back and enjoy. Hi, everybody. Will here with the interview chair. This week on the interview chair, we have Dr. Patty Haines. How are you? I'm going to call you doctor. I've never called you doctor. You're just
I know.
Patty.
You don't have to call me doctor. It's fine.
Hi, Patty. How are you?
I'm good, Will. Thank you.
Good. It's good to see you. And how's Thad?
He is wonderful. He is wonderful.
Is he out working the farm right now?
He is. He's already out with the cows.
Oh, wow.
It's a
What's the
little
weather like
pleasant.
there right now?
Please.
What's the weather out there right now?
It's not bad today. We're in the teens.
Oh.
Yesterday was down single digits with wind. So that makes it like, yeah, that's a little much. But it's January in Ohio. It is what it is.
We have a ton of snow here right now.
I heard that.
Yeah, we were smacked.
Yeah, we don't have any. Actually, we could use some because we're getting some really cold temperatures in, and the wheat crop really would like to have something covering it rather than just sitting out there in the cold. But we'll find out.
So Thad works the farm and you work in the clinic. You guys are busy.
It's a constant challenge. You know, it does. What it really has led to, I think, is both of us realize we can't retire. We're the kind of people that have to get up in the morning and have something to do, and at night know you've accomplished something. It's hard to do when you retire, so we keep going.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Like when I stopped showing dogs, I felt the same way. Like, what now? And I just kept on doing the same things I always did. So,
exactly. You have to. I think that's our mentality with animals. That you got to get up in the morning and deal with them and put them to bed at night, and then keep doing it the next day.
It's so funny when I'm driving anywhere, like for a judging assignment or something like that. If I stop at a service area to get a coffee or use the restroom, I always say, I better crack the windows. Well, there's no dogs in my car.
There's no dogs there. Do you stop and look for grass? I mean, that's what we kind of do.
Yeah.
Yep, it's how it works.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd like to start this. I want to ask you how you got started. So tell me how you got started in our sport of dogs, please, Patty.
It's a long time ago, but the family had always had a pet Irish setter. We bought a puppy because our last Irish setter died at like 14. That puppy had a champion father. And we took him to a puppy match, and it all started from there. And
how old were you at that point?
Oh, I probably would have been 9 or 10. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it was, it is how this sport is. We went to another puppy match. We met the person who owned the sire of the litter. He was a breeder named Charlie Jones from here in Ohio. His kennel name was Encore with an E, which is how our kennel name evolved from. But he was starting to
So you took your kennel name from your parents and you just carried on with it?
No, my parents I was the one that started in dogs. They helped me do it. But it was me that got us started, and we decided to do this. But we started with an Irish setter and went to training class and met people in the city. These are how this evolves. Laura Kling from Laurel Kennels gave me my first golden retriever, which is the breed I started in. Karen Crisanti at that time, Prickett, was trainer at the training class, taught me how to run. So it's a long term. You have a lot of memories in there. A lot of people have touched your lives through the sport.
So let's go back. You're 9 and when did you first go into dog shows? You went to some puppy matches.
Went to puppy matches when I started with the golden retriever. She was the first golden. She was I got her as a puppy, and we started showing her. I think she got her first point at 6 months and started in junior handling. And first time I went to Westminster when I was 12, qualified for juniors, I won. So it was, and from there, you just evolved. I helped handlers on the weekends back then.
Well, let's go back to your Westminster win. So you were showing the Golden Retriever?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And who were your judges?
My semifinal judge was Lena Bisquette, and my final judge was Frank Sabella. So, and we
pretty good
laughed. But actually, the funniest story with that is being involved with AKC, and of course, all of us in the sport involved with Maribeth O'Neill. We worked together at AKC, and we were at a junior function. I did a lot of junior functions with her. Frank was there. We were discussing it. And when I was telling the story, she looked and she said, "You're that person. I never remembered who you were." So it took us like 40 years to put it back together that we were in juniors at that time together. So, but yes, those were good times. We were judged by handlers at the shows. We learned so much, and you got so involved in the sport because of the involvement with the handlers and junior judging. It was way different than it is now. So it really
we still up here in Canada, we still do that. The handlers still judge juniors.
Yeah. And I know we have a lot of handlers that are starting to get their license here in the States, and will help
seems to be going that way.
But it still is. It was a more casual time. You could really teach and learn and talk to the juniors, and not that we can now. So.
No, not as much, and it's just taken. Not that it shouldn't be taken seriously, but it's like taken seriously ranking wise now.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So
yes, absolutely. So it was a great time to start in the sport, and then from there, I just evolved into Goldens. Went to mentors in the sport. You got to go to college. Went to because I was ready to start handling out of high school. No, you go to college. Well, that was the best thing I did. So went to college. Still stayed involved in the sport when I could. Met my husband at Ohio State in the College of Agriculture, actually in a monogastric nutrition class. He had no idea I had dogs. Then he found that out. Then he had no idea how many dogs. And then he had no idea when I got married that all those dogs were coming with me. So, but he's become totally involved in it with me throughout.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. You at a dog show, it's you and Pat all the time.
Yep. So, and a great support. A team. Yeah, it is. We couldn't do it without that. So, but Goldens were my main breed for a long time. Basically, I had Goldens before people really knew what Golden Retrievers were. They weren't a popular breed back then, and they exploded.
Who were your mentors in Goldens?
Laura Kling had dogs with her, and then Connie Gersner co-owned a lot of dogs with Connie. Actually, co-owned the dog that won the group at the Centennial after he had won that group, and was on him when he won the national. So we had that. And we finally just decided, actually, after one of the nationals even, we were driving away and Dad said, "I don't like showing this breed anymore. We need to move on." And we did. And, I was so fortunate with all the people involved. Dick and Judy Cooper. Judy always had a Pyrenees for me to show and talk about beautiful dogs to learn from. I mean, Tip and Chip.
Did you work for handlers at all?
Helped. I wouldn't say worked. Very involved, very close friends with Dick and Judy Cooper. Tom Glassford couldn't have done any of this without Tom. Around George Ward, around all these people that just instill dog knowledge on you. And it's been
education in itself. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, but then we got an American Foxhound. So we had a few of those. We found out they're hard to breed and sell. Nobody wants an American Foxhound. It's hard to breed good ones. Bob and Polly Smith were totally involved with us with some of our American Foxhounds. That was fun. And then eventually, actually, it was Tom that got me started in pointers because he was showing a bee's knees son who was, it was her first litter, actually, and out of Tom Bradley's Fool's Gold dog. And Stinger.
Which dog was it? Do you remember?
It was owned by Mark Harrison and Liz Hoyman. There we go.
Okay.
I remember some of the names.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. And he was a litter mate to the Bedazzle bitch. He lost the breed at the garden to the Bedazzle bitch, the litter mate. And Tom said, they don't want to show him anymore. He's your dog. And it's like, okay, so now I get to look at this beautiful dog of myself. And he said, oh no, we're going to find you a bitch too. So we did. That was with Sally Barton, Coralwood. That litter, actually, that bitch became the top producing dam of all breeds. The 1 year out of one of the litters, she had 10 champions.
Wow.
So from there, we've had 7 breeder, owner, handler, best in show winners in pointers and 5 generations consistent. So
you were breeder, owner, handler of the year. You won a Winky.
I did for some good dogs I had. Yep.
Yeah. That's a great accomplishment.
And that interesting there, even talking about the people involved, I wasn't able to go to that ceremony in New York. So Phil Booth and Mike Pitts accepted my award for me. So that's one of my most favorite pictures is to see
I bet. Yeah. So, back when Phil had short hair, now he has long hair.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, I mean, that's what I said. There's so many great people in this sport that give and are a part of your life, and it's fabulous. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
But
how do I? So you obviously you took time out to go to school because now you're a doctor, Patty Haines.
Right.
So, let's go down that route a bit. How did you decide to do that when you were younger?
Well, I figured.
Did you always want to be?
Not totally. I knew I wanted to do animals or something. I figured I'd graduate with an undergrad degree and go into the business of show dogs. But then as you progress along, you're like, well, maybe this and this, and met my husband, and he was from a farming family. And it's sort of like, well, I've applied to vet school. Let's see what happens. We were engaged in February and I was accepted to vet school in March. And he's like, well, you better go. It's probably going to be cheaper for you to be the vet of all our animals than it is for us to pay for a veterinarian for all these years. So I did. And he was the one that we had just bought our farm. And we were 63 miles from Ohio State Vet School, but I lived at home, drove it every day. And he shoved me out the door every day to get my degree. We did. So I've been practicing since then. And mainly small animal, but I started with mixed animals, large animals too, and still have to do the large animal work around here. So,
but it's not. You seem to do everything. You were vet of the year, 2021 in Ohio?
Yes. So, I was very involved with the Ohio Veterinary Medical Association, and actually was progressing through that when I left the AKC board. And was able to step right in. And actually, a year later, I was president of the Ohio Veterinary Medical Association.
Oh, I did read that. Wow.
Yeah.
You are busy. How do you find time for dog shows?
It's a challenge. Yes.
I bet.
Yeah.
So you started breeding pointers in, what year did you say that was?
96. Yeah, about 96 was our first litter. Yeah.
So and you touched on was Tom one of your mentors and pointers, and Tom Bradley.
And people don't realize, actually, I think a bitch he owned is still in the top 10 producing bitches of the breed. So he had a big involvement with pointers in his career. So, but
you remember? There's some pointers out there, past pointers, obviously that just struck you. That just have always stayed in your head and you've always wanted to keep that as a template?
Bees was one of those that was always the image in my head when I was trying to emulate or take a path in the breed of where I wanted to go with them. To me, they're such a stylish, thoroughbred breed. They've got to start with soundness. They've got to have those tight breed characteristics of a tail and a head. And the biggest challenge in the breed is to find one that's got the stuff inside their head to be the show dog. A lot of them have gypsies, and I do say to people, I understand the breed, because what other breed hunts their prey and then freezes and just stays? That's a disconnect up in the brain synapses. A dog wants to go get their prey like a beagle.
Right.
They tell them to just freeze when they see that bunny.
Good luck.
Yes, exactly. So pointers are a real challenge, but they're just a fabulous dog to live with. People don't understand how great of house dogs they are. And,
well, just their lines and their outline alone,
exactly. They're just
you're
classic.
drawn to,
Yes.
Sensation for Westminster. It's
Absolutely.
It's iconic.
Yep. And I realized it is all symmetry and balance to me. And I take that even through veterinary medicine, is a good, sound animal is a healthy animal because it doesn't have ambulatory problems. Consequently, it can go get its food if it's a livestock. It can produce. It can have their babies normally. It can stand on its feet a long time. And just looking at that animal, and I think that's what so many people miss in animals anymore, is just stop and look at that outline. Is it balanced? Is it got the angles in the right place? Can it stand on its own and not have to be propped up? And and to me, a pointer is the epitome of that. It's all right there.
Oh, for sure. When you said thoroughbred, that's how I see them as well. They're just the thoroughbreds of our sport. There's no question.
Yes.
What led you to board of directors of AKC? How did you get in that? God, you have enough on your plate.
I know. Involved in our local kennel club, actually Cincinnati Kennel Club, when I won junior handling at Westminster, invited my parents and myself to come to the kennel club. Cincinnati Kennel Club is a long-term club. I believe we're 125 years now. But at that point in time, the long-term president was Bud Schulte, another name in the sport that's forever. They were kind to get me started there. So I've always had an involvement with Cincinnati Kennel Club. Roger Hardinger said to me, "You're going to be our delegate." So I went up to the board meetings and I got involved, or went to the delegate meetings and got involved and decided, okay, I'm going to move ahead into this. And actually, Dog News, Matt Standard, Gene Severis, they were instrumental in pushing me in that direction. We've had our differences since then when I was on the board, but we always had a mutual respect for each other and still do. And I still to this day, Matt was one that pushed me down into the board of directors. And so it was an interesting run. I was on for 4 years, off for 4 years, and then went back for 8 years. So
went back for how many years?
8 years. So I was on for 12 years. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm. And fortunate to be there with Ron Menaker in the last 8 years. And I think Ron was instrumental, and we miss his leadership today. We sure do. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You talked earlier, you touched on your relationship with Dick and Judy Cooper, who are like iconic in our sport. It's just, I have a picture of Dick that hangs in my office with a chance, the Irish setter. And Tommy, again, another iconic figure. How did those people impact you in the sport? Because they, I barely, I knew them, obviously, but probably not the level you knew them. And I feel impacted by them as well, so you were with them a lot.
No, and like I said, one of my best memories in pointers, sitting in our motorhome with the first litter of pointers out in the X-Pens, and Tom Glassford and George Ward sitting there in chairs with a Heineken sorting the litter.
That'd be amazing to sit and watch that.
That's a great memory.
I bet. I was close with George because of his Canadian connection.
Sure.
And whenever I would go down to his area, he would always ask to see my new dog, and he would tell me what he thought.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. George was George, and
he sure was. Yeah, miss all those.
Yes, we do. Miss
people in our sport.
Yes, absolutely.
So, if a young person approached you and asked you they were interested in breeding pointers, what advice would you give them?
First advice is always to find strong mentors. Just go sit at the ring and watch who keeps coming in the ring with dogs you appreciate. Don't go to the first one that's winning. Don't go to maybe the big winner today. Could be, but maybe not. Just go and watch the people who are consistently bringing an animal to the ring that you admire. And you have to develop that eye yourself of what there is in that sport. I think too many just go and, wow, that dog won today and that dog wins a lot. But is it really the animal you like to look at? And I think we need to develop that.
I think you need to consistently decide which type or direction you want to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's difficult because you have outside influences too. The people,
absolutely.
People are people, so they'll say, don't go that way.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Everybody has an opinion, and that's fine. And everybody has a different look for a dog. But, growing up in the sport, you knew what a Marigold Golden looked like.
No question.
Judy's, Tip and Chip.
And we miss them.
Are stamped, always have been. Yeah. So that's where you go. That's how I kind of started with pointers. I needed something like that. And meld together the soundness with that outline and look and showiness. So, and fortunately here in the last, it's probably 10 years, Katie and Dennis Brown and I have been co-breeding and have a similar feel for the sport, for the breed. And it's great to be able to share that with somebody too. I think that's the other thing that's fun about this is being able to share it with somebody.
Yeah, and it's good to have. It really is good to have a team when you are producing these dogs because people see things differently. So you need to look at everything and decide which is best route.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the enjoyment of it. And I think you don't get into this to just get that ribbon. I mean that helps obviously, but
that's the fun part of it.
It is the fun part. Like to win. That's the ultimatum of it is getting there, but. It's also the discussions and the sharing, unfortunately, the sharing of a lot of challenges and disappointment. I mean, those of us that have been in this a long time know we probably can name more disappointments than we can accomplishments. And that's because of the living creatures we deal with.
Yeah, there's no guarantee,
No.
You see a dog grow up and you see the potential and something goes wrong and
Yep.
You're sidetracked.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom always had a joke if there was a puppy that hurt itself, he says, that's probably the best one. It probably is true. Yes.
But isn't that the truth? And you try to...
You try.
Your heart wants you to keep going,
right. And the longer you're in this, I think that's why I sit and watch people that think, oh, well, I'm going to win with this one. It's going to go. And it's like, well, you're a novice. Wait till you've been in this for a while and you'll learn. You just keep your fingers crossed the whole way through. Yeah.
But when the potential is there, you definitely get excited.
Absolutely.
Like I'm sure when you get your new dogs or back when you're still producing them, it probably kept you going, let's get this dog there,
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. We've got a young dog right now that is I'm just trying to make myself totally enjoy him because he's the most fun pointer I've ever shown. And that's the entertainment part. That's the fun part then. So
do you remember your first big win besides junior handling at the garden?
Besides junior handling, first best in show. Now, okay, you're really going to get into stories here with some names, but actually first dog I showed to a best in show. We were out in Indiana, Terre Haute, Indiana. Tom didn't have anybody with him that weekend. He knew he won the non-sporting group with the new chow, which was Billy B, who may still hold a lot of records. And the dog was just starting. He won the herding group. It may have been the working group at that time with Beery Collie, who was a herding group. Dougie Hymans. He told Dougie, hey, I think Patty's going to go best in show with what she shows for me. You want her to show your dog. No, you're my handler. So he says, okay, here's your chow. You're going to go into this best in show ring with this chow. He said, now you're going to be second to last in line. George is going to be behind you. George is going to try to spook this dog because he knows this dog he's young and he said, so you go in there, you stop with a lot of room in front of you. Let George get down, move up, and stack. Because he said George can't get up that quick. All true. And Well, I did show the dog, and I went best in show under Bob Smith. But Billy won a lot of best in shows. But that was my actual first best in show to put on a dog. My own dogs, my first pointer was from that original breeding. Well, he was from the repeat breeding in the litter that the bitch was top producer all the time. And that was Elmer, and he went best in show. And his sister also had multiple best in shows, and her name was Miller. Encore's Coralwood High Life. So
I'm sure it was exciting going best show with Billy, but when it was your own dog,
when it's your own, it's a different feel. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And I put some best in shows on some Great Pyrenees in there with Judy's dogs too, so that was fun.
I bet.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, those were fun to show. Yeah.
Now we talked about bees. Are there other pointers or other? It doesn't have to be pointers. Other dogs that have made an impact on you that you almost wish you could have been a part of, but you didn't because it's not your breed. But they did make an impact on you in the sport.
You know, showing and traveling to the shows with Tom and Andrea Glassford. A lot of Andrea Springers were just the midget bitch was just beautiful. And she was a lot of fun. And I've always felt like we were a part of that because we were involved with them. A lot of the dogs, Tom's special, Rocky, the bloodhound. Actually, I remember being in the group at the Centennial with Rocky because I had my American Foxhound bitch and he had Rocky. He nearly got suspended right before the group. That was a whole nother backstory when he says, here,
you like those stories though, Patty.
I am full of stories, Will. He said, here,
I like those stories.
And I thought, oh no, this is not going to be good. We got our way through it and he won that group. And standing there in the ring next to Bobby Fowler, as Tom took the group around, many people probably won't realize this, but those of us standing there realizing what he was doing, they said, take him around. They were in an awkward position on the mat. Tom switched hands and went around the ring backwards. And not many other dogs could go counterclockwise. Clock. They blew their minds.
What are you doing?
Exactly. And the bloodhound just marched along. So,
how did you meet Tom?
It's Irish setters at dog shows. Yep. Mm-hmm. He showed when we started originally. He just made friendships. You know, that's the thing. And that's what I miss today. And that's probably a good topic to talk about. I was a kid, started in this sport, and every handler was willing to help me. Everybody was willing to see, and they would tell you if you had a good dog, and they watched out for you. We've done so much damage in the AKC side with the owner handler side. We've divided our sport. Shouldn't be that way. It should be the encouragement and the camaraderie. People like yourself, there are handlers. If you see a good dog, you're attracted to it. You don't care who has it, and you're willing to say to them, that's a great dog. Maybe if you did this, this will help. Or maybe if you did that, that'll help. And I really think that was the biggest part of this for me, was growing up through that and being able to feel that appreciation and the sharing of knowledge. So
when they first started the Owner Handler series, I was thinking, imagine some of the moments the handlers we would have missed if this had started like 30 years previous.
Right. Yes. Yeah. No, I'll be honest. I was the one descending vote at the board of directors. This was not, when it was originally developed within staff, it was to be a ranking system, which I was supportive of. I think that's great. Let's have an owner handler ranking system within our sport, within our regular competition. But then when we made it a total separate competition.
Well, it's a dog show within a dog show now.
Exactly. So. Yeah, it's a shame. And it's just created too much of a divide. And this is an amazing sport. You can't name many sports where professionals, amateurs, children, older people, everybody go in the ring with the same level to compete.
Yeah. And I had a conversation with somebody in Portland this past weekend, and they were saying that's basically the same thing. This is the only sport where a 9-year-old could walk in the ring and compete with a 90-year-old.
Absolutely. You know? Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a shame we've lost that.
Yeah. And granted, the competition has gotten better. From when it started, it was a little hard to watch, but now the groups have gotten better. But I still worry about, to be the best, you want to compete against the best.
Exactly. And frankly, I've always felt I'd rather compete against somebody that's a good handler than somebody that's in the ring that's a bad handler. They're going to mess my dog up too. I want to compete with the better handled dogs.
Yeah. And there's so many, well, yourself included, there's so many great owner handlers in our sport that...
Yeah, and we have an advantage. I am always so disappointed with, the handlers have all the advantages. No, they don't. I can focus on my one dog.
Exactly.
My whole challenge. Yeah. So, but but yes, I have been very fortunate to have a lot of these people that have just helped me every chance they could. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a help in my career as well. You were talking about.
Yeah, taking it the next step. Some of the people that worked for Tom that I was always around. Sandy DeAndrea. When Sandy showed her own Malamutes, now she's the head of the field reps. Eddie Zook, the CEO of OFA, has 2 Best in Show winning Beagles, I think you know about. So, these are the people I was able to grow up with.
We had dinner on the weekend, by the way.
Did you? Good. I knew he was out there. Good. I need to talk to him. Haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah, we have quite the time. We're talking about dogs. It's funny because, he'll judge and then he'll ask me afterwards. I'll say, that's exactly. And he's like, it's almost like we traveled together.
Well, it is sort of like you learn that look, and we do. Yeah, there is. Absolutely. And thank goodness we have people like yourself and Eddie that are starting to judge, because I think that's where AKC is. We're missing the boat there, and we need to get our good-eyed people in the ring. It's now just become, let's put you through all these hoops and hurdles, and there you go. And, it's a shame and I miss the fact those are the people you can't talk to about dogs. I could walk up to you and talk to you. We could go look at a breed and say, what do you think about that? A lot of what we have today, unfortunately, they don't have that eye or that ability.
Right. And it's unfortunate. And you go to the seminars and you can tell what we call the box checkers, or the ones that are actually trying to learn things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. People talk to me.
Yeah. I don't think that's something. Dorothy Welsh, who I served on the board with, always said, you judge dogs with your eye. If you can't see it with your eyes, she said, you can't judge it with your brain. You can't judge it with your hands. You got to judge them with your eye. And I think she's absolutely right.
Oh, that's the truth.
Yes.
You watch, and I hate picking on other judges, but you watch some new judges and they massage every inch of the dog. Absolutely. And by the time they're done, the dog is so, out of its sorts because of what they've been massaging for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. And you don't feel that. Watch it take a step and you don't care, Yeah. Even in veterinary medicine, it's disappointing to me. Again, I'm getting older in all aspects, but new veterinarians, a dog comes in because it's lame. The first they want to do is a complete lameness exam. Lay the dog down and massage it. I'm like, did you take it out into the large animal center and walk it yet? Have you seen where it's lame? And no, they don't have that ability to watch a dog and go, he's lame on his left rear. It's probably his stifle, It
happens a lot now. There's a lot of theoretical knowledge out there and not actually hands-on knowledge.
Hands-on, absolutely. Yeah. I always talk to people that my husband's a livestock person. He can walk out in the cattle herd and one quick look, he knows somebody's off. That's just the knowledge of animals.
It is. When I do a lot of classes and seminars, and when I get a person that's in livestock rather than dogs, like horses, sheep, they are so easy to train.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because they already get it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It is. I'm taking you terribly off subject, but
no, it's okay. This is a great subject. These are all things we need to talk about. What about judging? Did you ever think about?
No, I really don't like to judge. I did learn when I was on the board for 12 years and had to travel to shows. I need my hands on the animals. I've got to have my hands on the animals. And what I really enjoy, Katie Brown and I talk about this a lot, is maintaining the animals at home, getting them ready for shows. I love the everyday routine of training this young dog, conditioning this young dog, working with the animals. That's the part of this I enjoy. Yeah. And so the thought of just traveling to shows no.
And not taking your dog home with you.
Boring people. We like taking care of our animals.
I remember when Peter Green first started judging, he was like that. He was like, he liked judging, but he liked taking the best dog home with him.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what it's about. And I get it. Yeah. Yeah. Totally get it.
That's why I try to stay in the ring with my beagles or Irish setters. Keeps me in perspective.
Absolutely.
Like even as a judge, I can understand when a dog beats me or beats the dog I'm showing. Rather than just getting upset, I can understand. So,
right.
As a handler, I would just get upset.
Yes. No, it's, I mean, you can absolutely, but it is the fact of it's so hard to, once you've given your life to maintaining and raising animals, it's hard to just step away and say, okay, now I'm just going to go point to some of them all weekend and then go to dinner and go to the hotel room and start all over again the next day. So
what's next then?
What's
next for you? You have this young dog, so that's going to keep you at dog shows. So
we're going to keep. We're involved with him, and he just turned 2, so he's got a ways to grow up, and so keep. There, we may have a litter or 2 to do. And we are really at a point in our life, Will, where we're like, what are we going to do when we grow up and have to retire? And we don't have an answer for that. So I figure we're just going to keep doing what we're doing until we don't.
Yeah. It's so funny how we all think. I think when I grew up, I wanted to be Peter Green. I was already 40.
Yeah. Exactly. But that's, we enjoy our home. We enjoy our farm. We enjoy our land. We enjoy our livestock. But we enjoy getting away to go to shows periodically, but not to the level, that's where we're at today, to have a top dog. And I like to try to keep dogs in the top 10 in my breed, and would love to have the top, but I don't have the ability to commit to that anymore.
Yeah. And I don't think it's so much about where the dogs end up anymore. I think it's about moments. When I think back on famous dogs, I think about moments that they had.
And I think you're absolutely right. That's where it really has become. And you're absolutely on track there. The moments that is where that dog is special and it's a special situation. And absolutely. Yeah.
That's how they... I like to. People say, "Oh, this dog was number 1 dog breed." Well, I don't remember if it was or not. I just remember seeing him go best in show and being awestruck by him.
January 15th, by January 30th, we've forgotten about last year. So
it's the truth. It's to do with it.
Yes.
So many times I've been asked, "Who was top dog last year?"
I totally forget. Exactly. Absolutely. And it's fun to have those dogs that when you put them on the table in the morning, put them in condition, you go, I just think you're beautiful.
That's the
I was just talking to Mike Pitts about that. And he's got a beautiful young dog. And he said, I don't want to show him to anybody. Get it.
I used to love giving my dogs a bath, because when I gave them a bath, I could see it. I could feel them. I could feel that.
Absolutely.
Oh, look at this! Come and look at this.
Yes, absolutely, and that's how absolutely. I feel that way when you put that dog and get them on the table and just work on them and feel them and just look at them and realize how amazing they are. Yep, absolutely.
That's the truth. I'm going to go back to the advice. If a young person came up to you and my Bouvier is coming to say, go lay down, son. I'm sorry. If a young person came up to you and they wanted advice on wanting to show dogs, they wanted to be, say, a handler, what advice would you give them?
It is a challenge for me to say that. First of all, I'd say get your education, have a real life. Don't count on this. It's totally different anymore. But if it is what you want to do, then start out at it give yourself the head start. Work for somebody that can teach you, and make sure you know how to find somebody. That's hard to do anymore.
It is hard to do nowadays. Yeah.
Yes. You don't have the handlers out there that have the knowledge of multiple breeds. So consequently, you may have to take a different approach, talk to different people, move to different areas, but learn animal husbandry. Don't just learn how to get to the dog show. Learn what it takes.
But that's lacking nowadays.
Oh,
it really
is lacking everywhere. I think a lot of our problems in the world is we don't know how to take care of things. I mean, it is always a challenge to me in my profession to realize people literally don't know that cat's hair looks funny on its back because it's a solid mat. Like, you came and paid me a lot of money to say you need to clipper your cat. But it's true. That's where people are. And unfortunately, that's not going to get better. So that's where I feel so fortunate of having the animal husbandry ability with livestock, with numbers of dogs. We have like 9 or 10 dogs now. We used to have a kennel of 15 to 20, but just the ability to maintain that. So go learn that somewhere. And it may not even be in the dog sport. Go learn how to raise horses or raise cows and take
what to look for,
Absolutely. Yep. Go to some cattle shows. That'll teach you a lot too.
Oh, no question. I love going to those livestock shows. When I was running a kennel a few years back, I wasn't in charge of hiring, and they would hire people, physical labor. And I finally said to the owner that these people are great. They're good workers. They don't recognize things. They don't recognize when there's an issue.
Right.
And that's the people we need.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And they're harder and harder to find. And it is. So if you can get that knowledge, I think that's the basics you have to start with. You can learn how to show the dog in the ring. You can learn how to politic and successfully get a lot of wins. But do you really know how to take care of animals? And do you care? Right. That's maybe the part that I think you need to learn more than anything if you want to start this, is learn how to care about those animals. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you worry sometimes they're just a means to an end to some of them out there.
Absolutely. It's an ego sport. It is. And it's becoming that more and more. And it bothers me that dogs live in RVs and travel 360 to 150, 200 dog shows.
Oh, it bothers millions me. Of dog shows now.
Yes. And again, to your point, it really does come down to moments, not the big long haul.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I have one last question for you, Patty, and I'll let you get back to real work. If you were to meet, let's say, the 20-year-old Patty now, what kind of advice would you give Patty?
Enjoy it every step, every day. I think I have, but even more.
I think you have too.
Yeah, I have. I'm very, very fortunate where I'm at. But just even the times when you get so focused, and that step back and realize every moment you're making is a memory. Like you said, there's the moral things. I so cherish the memories of people in the past. We talked a lot about handlers at the board level. Sari Tejan, we developed a great relationship. Great human, great dog person. And just the enjoyment, the fun, the sharing of things. So enjoy those things along the way. Try to find those.
It's funny because with a decision we make, and we make that decision, it sends us off in a different direction, but that direction leads us to people like you or Sari or
those are the things and appreciate that. Yeah. And it's life's hard, dude, for everybody. It's financial and fortunately health and all of these things. So just realize today is the day you're making those memories, and just stop a little bit and enjoy it. Yeah. So
advice.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure, Will. I've always appreciated you in the sport, and appreciated the times we get, like you, here again, the fun part of the sport. How often have we ever really sat and talked We see each other momentarily at dog shows, but
we'll stop and talk at ringside for 20 minutes or so. So one of us has to go.
I feel very akin to you. So that's the memory of it. Yeah, that's the good part.
Thank you. I enjoy seeing you both as well. It's so much. Yeah, you always have something to teach me, so it's good.
Okay, so good.
All right, Patty. Thank you. Give Thad my best.
I will. You take care of yourself. We look forward to seeing you somewhere down the road.
Oh, for sure. Thank you, Patty. I almost said thank you, doctor, but I've never ever addressed you as doctor, so it's always just been Patty. But thank you, Dr. Patty Haines. Thank you, Patty, and thank you, Thad. And if you like what you're seeing here, make sure you press the like, share, and subscribe button. And we'll see you next time on Dog Show Tips, the interview chair brought to you by Dog News Magazine. Take care, guys.